I can't pinpoint the exact reason that led me onto that road. It was a fall evening, around 8 o'clock, and darkness had already descended. Rain was pelting down, striking my windshield forcefully. Opting for a slight right turn from the main highway, I navigated through a petite neighborhood nestled between two cities. It resembled one of those county areas with approximately 40 houses, a tranquil cul-de-sac development frozen in a time reminiscent of the 1960s. Approaching a bend in the road, my headlights illuminated something unsettling. At the end of a driveway, closest to the road, stood a woman bathed in an eerie glow. Clad in a drenched tank top and jeans, she clutched herself for warmth. As I neared, I noticed her fixed gaze on my side of the car. Being the helpful young Midwestern boy I considered myself, I thought it prudent to check if she was all right. I attempted to roll down my passenger side window, a manual crank requiring effort. The window opened a mere 3 inches, but before I could utter a word, she unconsciously gasped and grasped the window's top. Her fingers extended into my car, nearly brushing my face. It startled me, given her proximity. Summoning courage, I inquired about her well-being, observing her tear-streaked face. She appeared young, possibly between 18 and 22, her sobbing nearly uncontrollable. Amid desperate sobs, she struggled to catch her breath. My concern-laced voice yielded no response, prompting me to repeat the question. Her eyes remained fixed on mine, yet she remained silent. The silence, deafening, carried an inexplicable tension. Something about the situation felt deeply unsettling. Despite my unease, I offered her a ride, hoping to be of assistance. However, she continued to stare, her crying persisting, gripping the top of my window. I hesitated, contemplating the road ahead, and then glanced back at her. A growing sense of dread compelled me to say that I couldn't help her. Barely responding, she released my window, and the moment her fingers let go, I sped away into the darkness. Though the entire incident lasted no more than 45 seconds, it remains etched in my memory. I have no clue about the turmoil that young woman was experiencing that night. Empathy initially led me to stop, but a chilling fear urged me to depart. Reflecting on it, I've pondered the possibility of abuse, wondering if she was in shock from a traumatic event. The lack of her response during my stop still unnerves me. Now, whenever I drive on a rainy night, the memory of that eerie encounter resurfaces. It serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the most terrifying experiences are the ones that leave us with unanswered questions, forever haunting our memories. On a stormy and tempestuous night, I found myself ensconced in the warmth of my adorable little home. The rhythmic drumming of rain on the roof provided a steady backdrop, accompanied by the occasional unsettling soundtrack of thunderclaps. My customary evening routine unfolded as I curled up on the couch with a cheesy movie, seeking comfort within the confines of my cozy sanctuary. As I idly flipped through television channels, the serenity was interrupted by a momentary flicker of the power. A muttered, "Great," escaped my lips, and just as I reached for my phone to contact the power company, a blinding flash of lightning and an audible crack of thunder seized the room. The ensuing darkness accentuated my sense of isolation, and my heart quickened its pace. The storm, with its relentless fury, seemed to bear a personal vendetta, shaking the entire house and rattling the windows. Left in the obscurity of a power outage, I navigated the kitchen with the feeble glow of my phone's flashlight, the rain's persistent tapping on the window pane creating an unsettling rhythm. With a newfound urgency, I searched through drawers and discovered a box of candles and a matchbox. Lighting the first candle, its flickering flame cast dancing shadows on the kitchen walls, creating a macabre ambience. Clutching the candle, I cautiously retraced my steps back to the living room, where every creak of the floorboards intensified my unease. A chilling draft, seemingly laden with an ominous presence, enveloped me as I stood in the middle of the darkened room. Summoning all the courage I could muster, I followed the draft into the hallway, the rain's mocking resonance echoing through the walls. As I traversed the length of the hallway, the sound of rain grew louder, seemingly mocking my predicament. A blinding lightning strike pierced the night, briefly illuminating a figure at the other end of the corridor. A palpable jump in my heart's rhythm ensued. A sinister silhouette menacingly stood there, watching. A terrified gasp escaped my lips as fear surged through my veins. However, the subsequent thunderclap, much louder this time, brought clarity. In that fleeting moment of illumination, I realized the menacing figure was nothing more than a coat rack, casting a sinister shadow on the wall. Nervous laughter bubbled up as I acknowledged the folly of my overactive imagination. With a trembling breath, I retraced my steps to the living room, where a solitary candle continued its valiant struggle against the encroaching night. Despite the ongoing storm outside, a newfound calm settled within me. I came to understand that, at times, the most terrifying things are the phantoms we conjure within the recesses of our own minds. The torrential rain, a relentless percussion against my windows, resembled the haunting strikes of a vengeful ghost. Nestled on my couch beneath the comforting embrace of a warm blanket, I found solace in the soothing sound of the downpour. However, my tranquility was abruptly interrupted by the urgent and faint ringing of the doorbell. Intrigued but cautious, I hesitated, pondering the reason anyone would venture out on such a tempestuous night. Despite my initial resistance to leave the coziness of my cocoon, curiosity prevailed, coaxing me off the couch and toward the front door. As I opened it, I was met with the sight of a man drenched from head to toe, his clothes adhering to him like a second skin. Through the peephole, I glimpsed his rain-soaked countenance. Offering a hesitant, "Hello?" I slowly pried the door open, revealing his worn-out face. His bloodshot eyes and hair plastered to his forehead spoke volumes of a weary journey. In a voice fraught with trembling desperation, he implored, "Please, I need your assistance. Stranded blocks away with my car broken down. Can I make a tow truck call on your phone?" Torn between skepticism and compassion, I scrutinized the stranger standing at my door. The vulnerability in his plea tugged at my heartstrings, overpowering my reluctance to invite him in from the unforgiving night. "Sure, come on in," I finally relented, widening the door to welcome him. As he entered, leaving water puddles in his wake, gratitude permeated his voice. "Thank you so much. I apologize for intruding, but there was no other option." Offering a towel to dry off, I led him to the living room. While he wiped away raindrops, a subtle flicker of unease in his eyes caught my attention. Brushing it off as a symptom of his challenging circumstances, I handed him the phone, watching as he dialed for a tow truck. Eavesdropping on his conversation, I overheard fragments of fear and desperation in his hushed tones. A chill ran down my spine, and my chest tightened. There was undoubtedly a problem. Approaching him quietly, I strained to hear more. His voice trembled as he confided, "I don't think I'm alone out here. Something is following me in the darkness. Time is running out." Instincts screamed at me to retreat as my blood turned to ice. Before I could react, he abruptly ended the call, turning to me with a sinister smile. "I'm afraid you've been kind, but now you're trapped, just like me." Terrified, I realized I had unwittingly allowed a monster into my sanctuary. The rain outside intensified, and the room was bathed in an eerie glow from the lightning. Desperate to escape, I sprinted for the door. He lunged at me, eyes filled with a deranged hunger. But before I could reach safety, I found myself entangled in a struggle with the deceiver, the sounds of our altercation muffled by the raging storm. Determined not to become a victim, I fought fiercely, adrenaline coursing through my veins. Miraculously breaking free, I delivered a powerful blow to his jaw, surprising him momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, I fled, flinging the door open and racing into the pouring rain with a surge of adrenaline. I didn't look back, focused solely on putting distance between me and that horrifying house. Dialing the emergency number, I sprinted through the wet streets, recounting the harrowing encounter and pleading for help. The dispatcher advised finding a secure place to wait, assuring me the police were on their way. Under the awning of a nearby store, I anxiously awaited the police. The minutes dragged on until their flashing lights cut through the darkness, bringing relief. The intruder was swiftly apprehended, ensuring he would never harm anyone again.